This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. I'm Kathy Worthington. Welcome to Late Boomers. Today we have as our special guest, Sandy Joy Weston. Sandy is a keynote speaker who just got word today that she will be a TedX speaker, and she's an international podcaster, 3-time published author and entrepreneur who has owned and operated health and wellness companies for over 30 years. Early in her career, she became the first female trainer for the Philadelphia Flyers.
That's amazing. And I'm Mary Elkins. For the past 5 years, Sandy's been focusing on SJW Productions, an international company whose main mission is to highlight all the positive in the world. She does this through her international podcasts, her speaking, her books, Train Your Head and Your Body Will Follow, and My 30-Day Reset Journal, and her programs and workshops. Sandy's mission is to spread joy and inspire others to see their true power. Welcome, Sandy.
Yay! This is so exciting, ladies. I get Kathy and Mary in the same room.
Yes, you do. In the same online room. Yeah, love it. Please tell us, Sandy, about your background and how that led you to the career path that you have today.
Ooh, that's a big one, isn't it, Kathy?
I want you to dive in.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I was actually just interviewing somebody else a few hours ago, and they were talking about what made them the way they am, and it started when they were 5. And I thought about it, oh my God. I think I started when I was 4. And here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in the projects, which is, it has its own set of issues, but it wasn't bad. But my mom, she battled severe mental health issues. So she was, I'd say at least 50% of her life, she was in mental institutions.
Oh, no.
I came out of the womb knowing this is a bad gig. This is not going to be good here. And I knew that I had to do something to get out of this family situation. My dad, God love him, he didn't stand a chance. And my brother, he really, really got affected by it. But I thought I had to come up with a plan. And I remember I was 4. I can still remember it. And I stood on top of what they call a hassock, the thing you put your feet on, and you have the sofa, and you can sit on the hassock. And I stood up there when I was 4 and I started dancing at a birthday party that they had. And my relatives, some of the relatives were there. And I said, which one of you suckers are paying for my dance lessons?
No.
Because that's my only way out of here. And I'm not stopping dancing until one of you say, 1, you're going to pay for them, and 2, you're going to drive me, because we didn't have a car. So my uncle saved my life, and he paid for most of my dance lessons. Most of the time he drove me there. And that was my way of expressing joy. I used, since before I can remember, movement, words, and laughter to escape the craziness going on in the home, but also to visualize what I wanted to accomplish and where I wanted to go. So movement was, I would just put on whatever. And then I remember, and maybe it was a little after 4, because 4 is when I started taking dance lessons, but I remember words. Like I would think of one word, even as a kid. Like if I could focus in on one word, then I could just throughout the day think about it, and I would do whatever to bring me that. So it could be fun, it could be courage, it could be joy. And I would just write it down and go, okay, now what do I have to do to feel more joy? What do I have to do to be happy? Whatever. And I remember doing it as long as I can remember. And then laughter, I would always make light of the situation. I would spin any story to serve me well. And so I started the dance lessons when I'm 4, but I really remember since the time I was 9 doing these 3 things and thought they were going to save my life. Now, I didn't call it movement, words, and laughter. All I know is I would put the music on, dance, focus in on the word, and then think about it throughout the day. And every time something bad would happen, I'd crack a joke or make light of it. And I did it every single day of my life. And it only took a few minutes. But again, I didn't call it movement, words, and laughter. This is what I did.
Well,
And
you were
then,
an early visualizer without having even read about it.
yeah,
But you knew how to do it like when you came
yeah.
out. That's
And
amazing.
when I think about it, because it didn't make sense to me, like I wasn't saying that. I just knew, okay, I'm going to do this. And then where do I want to? I want to graduate high school. Okay, then how am I going to do it? Or, okay, I want to be able to go to this party. Okay, I want to, and I would do it after I did those things. And I did it all the way through getting out of high school, getting to college, business. That's what I did. And I'm telling you, it wasn't till maybe 3 years ago. I know this is going to sound crazy, ladies, that I made sense that I was doing it. And some colleagues said, well, that's movement, words, and laughter. And they labeled it, not me.
Oh,
That's
I didn't come up
amazing.
with movement. They're like, oh my God, that's movement, words, and laughter. And that's what came up with movement, words, and laughter in my speaking gigs. And then they go, wait a second. I know it sounds crazy. Like, how did I not know this? That I was doing it my whole life? I didn't. They're like, you do that with your clients. You say all it takes is 1 to 3 minutes. And you were doing the movement words. I'm like, it's my life. And how could I not put that together? And it was just a few years ago.
That's what I was going to ask you, because I understand your motto is all it takes is 1 to 3 minutes a day to change your body and your life in a positive way. So explain it more to us, if you would. And because I think we all need that, especially during these holidays.
So that's what I'm saying. You never know, like a late bloomer. I was like, oh my God, like most of the things I did, my mission was to spread joy, but I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together that, oh my God, I've been doing this my whole life. I just wasn't. The books were designed because my mission being to spread joy, I wanted to study other people that I thought innately you want to be around them. They're joyful, happy people, no matter what walk of life they come from. You like, oh, I can't wait to be around them. And I studied people for years who were members of my gym, about 100 of them, to see if I could think of anything that they all had in common, because that way I would be able to help others. And I couldn't find anything.
You couldn't?
I could, well, it was like over a year, and I'm like, no, the rest of you is screwed. You either got it or you don't got it. But then one of my colleagues said, oh my God, look, Sam, look, every single one of them do something every single morning to get into a positive, powerful place. Every single one of them. And I start looking. Some of them baked muffins. Some of them walked their dog. Some of them journaled. Some of them meditated. Some of them worked. Some of them made lists. It didn't matter, but every single person, they were in charge of how they were going to show up in the world. And they did it to get their head in that place. And some of them only took a minute, and some of them took 2 hours. So then I thought, oh, if I could get people in a routine that don't have a routine of how to start their day, wouldn't that be great? So then I go back out. I want to study more people, but I gathered what I call the powers to be. I gathered 12 experts in mindset, whether they were positive psychologists, neuropsychologists, exercise physiologists, gurus, spiritual leaders. And I told them what I wanted to do. And I wanted to create a book or a journal book to help people get in that mindset who didn't have those routines in the morning. So I came up with something that took 5 minutes, and I put it again out to another 100 people to study. So you got to do it for just 30 days for 5 minutes. And it failed flat on its face. Nobody did it Nobody did it,
Mhm.
but one
Mhm.
person. So I was like, what the mother? And so one of my powers to be, my mentor, said, well, of course they didn't do it. No one's going to do something they don't already have that belief system for unless it's under 5 minutes. It has to be 1 to 3 minutes. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? He said, well, we thought it'd be best for you to find out. So yeah,
Oh,
the year of my life, I found out. So then I redid it. And then they did it because even if they didn't believe it, it was worth doing a 1 to 3 minute routine to get them in that mindset. And they were willing to take that leap of faith. And then when they saw the results after 30 days, they kept doing it.
well, can you give
But I
us an
still,
example? Can you give us an example of one or two of the things that you told them to do?
so in 1 to 3 minutes, first of all, I want to really make this very, very clear. It should be different and individual for you. When you wake up in the morning, the most important thing you do, Kathy and Mary, before you get out of bed, even if you're in a hurry, just take a second to breathe, connect to your heart, and ask, how do I want to show up today? Like the word, remember I talked about as a kid? One word. Pick a word. Now, if you're really feeling anxious and overwhelmed, you don't want to say, oh, I'm going to show up with pure joy because it's too unrealistic. So you just want to be a little bit above where you are. So if you're really feeling overwhelmed and anxious, you say, I want to show up with peace or ease and flow because that's a positive one. Or if you have a big meeting, you want to show up with confidence or courage. You just take 30 seconds to say, guide me and show up with that one word. So in the journal book, it does say before your feet hit the floor, pick a word, then come down and write that word and reflect upon it. If you did nothing else of what we go over today, if all you did is write your word, joy, peace, confidence, gratitude, and then throughout the day, every hour, check in. Am I coming from peace? Am I coming from joy? Am I coming from fun? Be really honest with yourself. And if not, what can I do to get back there? I swear it would change your life. If you did
Mm.
nothing but that, because it's just over and over again, you deciding how you want to show up in the world. Nobody else. Hey, I said I want to show up with courage. That wasn't really showing up with courage. Okay, what can I do? Dance around my house, call a friend, hug a tree. You never know what it's going to be.
I love that.
Easy,
That
That's
is a really good
simple.
system.
I'm
yeah,
very
and it's
simple.
easy. It's
Yeah,
so easy.
so
Well,
easy.
in addition to this, then how can we set ourselves up for success and reach our goals?
So in this specific journal book, and it's like I said, this is one guide. You should find one that works for you. Remember, it's only going to take you 1 to 3 minutes. I like everything to be easy and simple, and I want people not to have an excuse not to do it, right? Because so many times you see people going, oh, okay, especially like coming up in the new year. I'm going to work out 6 days a week for an hour every day, or I'm only going to eat these foods and I'm going to do it and I'm never going to have that. And guess what? Doesn't happen. I can tell you as a
Mm-mm.
health club owner, it happens for 3 weeks, but it's unrealistic. So what you want to do, the most important thing is start out small. Let it be a slight stretch from where you are right now. You can always do more, but you want to see that body mind connection. You want to convince your mind you can do it. You want to build on it because it will see, oh, you kept failing. Oh, well, just give up. But hey, I only did that for a few minutes. I said I'm going to move for 5 minutes a day. Okay, you move for 20. Great. But let's see the success. So I came up, I know it took years, right? With the acronym game plan that is set a goal for G. Again, a small goal, even just for 30 days. Every day, I'm going to move for 5 minutes. That's it. Every day, I'm going to go out and meet people once, not even every day, maybe even once a week, go out to meet people because maybe you want to meet a special someone. Or I'm going to job hunt for 5 minutes, every single day. Small, 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 whatever you're going after.
Mm-hmm.
Your action in there, because now your goal, you want to make it really attainable, the action that you're willing to do. So like I talked about, like if you want to meet someone special, what's the action you really are going to take to get there? Like really, you got to be honest with yourself because you want to see success. And then the motive you're doing it for. What is the motivation? And that's the most important thing. Like if you really got divorced and you want to screw your husband, then let's be real of why you're doing this, man, because that's what's going to get you up in the morning. You want to be real. Why do you want this? Do you want to meet someone? And be honest with yourself why you want to meet someone. Do you want a new job? Great. Why you want a job? You want to make more money. It's the motivation. That motivation is going to get you out of bed to keep doing it every day. And then I say on a scale of 1 to 7, the energy level you're really going to be putting into it. On a scale of 1 to 7, I want to go all out for a 7. I want to go for a 4 or 5. And then every day you evaluate it. So now you have your game plan for the next 30 days. And you can tweak it. But remember, it's got to be something, not because, oh, you went on social media and everyone else is doing that. I don't give a crap. You're the only person. Well, you know what I'm saying. It looks like,
Yeah,
I mean, I just
for
saw another
sure, for sure.
of a happy couple. We won't mention names. They're away and I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. I mean, do I know she filed for divorce? Like, come on.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but why do you want to portray that? You know? So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So don't get caught up on what everyone else is doing. Do it like, I really want to do this. I want to fit into my clothes. I want to feel good when I go out the door. I really want to be a keynote speaker. I want to write a book because it'll mean something to me, not to post to impress the world or your family or your friends. That's it.
That's great. I just have to interject something on keeping it simple and easy and something you can really relate to, because at one time in my past, I wanted to learn how to make a stained glass window. So I was looking for all kinds of patterns, and I picked the hardest pattern I could find because it looked pretty. It was doing a cityscape of New York and at night. And I thought, I never did it. It was too hard. It was a beautiful idea, but it's too hard. So yes, keep it simple. Yeah. And I have to ask you about journaling. Why is journaling so important?
So there's tons and tons of journaling. So there's different ways to journal. The guidebooks that I have, it's really about what we talked about, which is getting you in the positive headset to serve you well every single day, reminding you of what you're going after. So that's why you have the word, you have your game plan, you have your power statement. Like for me today, it's bring it on because I was doing a lot of negotiating, but it's there to remind you of what you really want to achieve, and in only the most 3 minutes. When you see it, number one, you're more likely to achieve it. And they do believe that you're 40% more likely to achieve it when you write it down. So that's great. But also, you're like, oh crap, I said I wanted to make that amount of money this year. Oh, I said I wanted to do this. I said I wanted to move. You're calling your own self out. So that's one type. But there's other types of journaling, which I just call scribble scrabble or brain drain, where we all have things we really want. And if we don't have them already, most of the time it's our own belief systems that are holding us back. And we all have negative thoughts in our head. We all do. And if you didn't have it, you'd already have it. So the negative chatter is going around in your head. I believe it helps. Say, for example, you wanted to get a new job making X amount of money, but you haven't had it in your, well, why not? Start writing down all the stuff that's in there so you can really see it and go, holy crap, I think I'm too old. I don't think I'm good enough. So that you know what's really going on in there. If you want to make a shift, you have to be honest with what is in there right now. And then you draw an X through it and say, okay, cool. I'm not going to judge it. Everybody has negative thoughts, but wow, I didn't even really know I had that. What do I believe? What is going to serve me well? What shifts can I make? So that's another type of journaling where you're just writing down a brain dump, scribble, scrabble, just to get it out there. And then there's other types of journaling where you're just being creative and you're not sure where you want to go with your book, your keynote, your podcast, your home, and you're just writing down your thoughts just to see and connect to yourself. So there's all types. And I just think everybody would benefit from some type of journaling. Everyone.
Oh,
It's like having
Good.
somebody to talk to, a therapist, a life coach, a mentor, a best friend.
Yeah.
We all need somebody that we can
mhm.
trust who's
Yeah.
not in it.
Yeah. That's great.
Wow, I love that. And does the book that you wrote on journaling, does that cover like if you don't want to do it this way, you do it the other way? Or are you teaching a certain kind of journaling in your book?
So the first book that came out, Train Your Head and Your Body Will Follow, have little stories, anecdotes, fun things I learned from my mentors to get you in the right positive mindset. And the 2 journals are at the end, 2 60-day journals. And it is a specific way and a guide to do that.
Mm.
Then I wrote just the journals, which is a 30-day reset that has the 2 journals in there. And it is a specific guide. I mean, it's literally, this is how you do it for 1 to 3 minutes, but there's 2 pages. So if you only want to do 1 minute, you just do the 1 minute, no excuses. Let's go a little extra. Then you do the second page. Now you're up to 3 minutes. So it gives you options.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did recently, and I'm going to have to do it for adults, I wrote a journal for kids. My publisher asked me to write one for kids, 8 to 12, and it's called Recess to Reset. And I sent it out to my friends and grandparents, but they're using it instead of the kids. They never even gave it to the kids because they like the way this one is set up because the kids helped me. There's way more ways that you can create it yourself. Like you might just want to draw stick figures instead of drawing, it's a brain outlet. So they're using it as much as the kids are using it. So now I got to make a new version for the kids because it's way more creative,
It's
That
great.
just happened. Now what, Boy, you learn the darndest things from children, don't you?
You do. I was about
Yeah.
to say that. Yeah. So true. Yeah.
Well, you told us a little bit about your background, but let's hear more about your journey and how you found your why. Your why in quotes.
Yeah. I really do believe the vehicle has changed, Kathy, but it's always been like, for me, my why is my mission. How do I want to serve others? And as we were talking about at the beginning, I knew it was to create joy or spread joy. And I knew it from a very, very young age. Now, it might have been through my dance. It may have been through health clubs. But if I could put a smile on your face in a few seconds, that's it. I'm done. And I think I was probably saying around 9. And that's when I started visiting my mom in the mental institutions with my brother. And not that it was easy because those places were horrific and they were for poor people. So it was ugly. But my brother, who's older, he had a rougher time than me. So I always wanted to do something to change the mood. And I would want to go when they were all getting their medicine in the lobby. So they would gather, like you see, in the lobby, get their medicine, watch TV. Well, I would bring a little boombox and my tap shoes.
Oh.
And I'd go. Now they
Shirley
probably
Temple.
they probably did need their medicine, but I'd go around and say, "You don't need that. Watch me. I'll bring you joy." And then before I would get in trouble, I'd push the boombox, I'd throw on my tap shoes, and I would dance away. And ladies, if you could have saw their faces in that minute, oh my God, they were laughing and they were smiling. And I think for me, the biggest thing, I thought, well, there's hope here. And I had hope. And I knew I would never, ever not want to do that my entire life. I mean, if you could take these people in this stage and let them smile and laugh, and some, honestly, I swear to you, some of them really did need that medicine, but some really didn't belong there. They were misunderstood or they were poor. I'm telling you the truth. But I couldn't change it long term, but I could do that. So look what I did for a career. I mean, I thought I was going to be a dance major on Broadway. I went to school for that. Then I went to Montclair State College, realized I sucked compared to all the other Broadway dancers. So that wasn't going to work out. Took off, went back to school. And the winding trail, it took me to teach aerobic dance classes during my internship in the suburbs of Philadelphia in an aerobic club met some really high profile people. They asked me to train them in their home, and they just took me under their wing and they mentored me with everything from business on how to speak English, because I had really broken English, even though I went to college. And they, every step of the way, I felt like Philadelphia's favorite daughter, mentored me on everything.
Oh,
I mean, you can imagine. I mean, because I thought I was going to be a dance instructor, which was great. I mean, I made it out of the projects. I went to college. I was really happy being a dance instructor when I didn't make it on Broadway.
mhm.
But they're like, you should open a business. And then, okay. And then I did it with everything. I mean, I just put all guns ahead. And next thing I know, I own a training business. And then that's building. And then I have 15 people working for me. You should open a health club. Well, I never thought of that. And then I went all in. But it wasn't like I had this plan to be an entrepreneur. It was the farthest thing from my mind.
Mm,
I just want to
yeah.
spread joy and dance. That's it.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. That'll inspire a lot of our audience.
I
You,
hope so.
yeah, well, it will for sure. Break down even more your game plan, GAME, and also
Okay.
your power statement and action plan. What are they?
Okay. So think about right now. Let me think. No, I'm going to change it up. Think of, and you guys should do it too, Mary and Kathy. Think of one area of your life right now that isn't quite where you want it to be. I mean, you may have it all together in all areas of your life, but normally there's an area we want to uplevel. We all do. I mean, I hope so, because that's how we grow. And there's three main areas. One is love relationship. Maybe it's with a significant other, or maybe you want to meet someone, or maybe it's with your kids or somebody. Just maybe it's love relationship. That's one main area. Number two, money, career. You want to switch careers, or you want to make more money, get a new job, whatever it is. Or the third major area is body health. Maybe you want to be able to touch your toes, be healthier, eat healthier, take care of yourself, lose weight. Pick one of those three areas that you, for the next 30 days, want to take to the next level. And we all have it. And if somebody says, well, they're all areas of my life, pick one. If you really want to improve those other areas, the best way to do it is focus in. Get narrowly focused on one area. Okay. So think of that one area of your life. Okay. Now that you have that one area of your life, we're going to make up a game plan. And you think, what's the goal that I would like to accomplish in that area of my life? Let's go with body health. You want to feel healthier. You want to be able to take care of your grandkids, run around with them, play with them. What action are you willing to do to feel healthier? Maybe it is cutting back on those extra cookies, that extra wine, bread. Maybe it is just gradual things that you're going to do to make sure that you eat healthier. Maybe you're going to move a little bit every day instead of just say, get up every hour and move for a minute or 2 or 5 minutes. You clear on the action to fit that goal you want. And again, the motivation is, why do you really want to do this? And it might be because I want to enjoy my grandkids as long as possible, or my family. Then you go again and you have to think of how much energy am I really going to put this into? So on a scale of 1 to 1 is with everything else going on, I'm going to give it a 3. And no judgment, or I'm all in for the next 30 days. I'm going to give it a 7. Now you have a game plan. That's something you've done. It's done. You don't have to do it for the next 30 days. Every morning when you get up, before you get out of bed, you can change the word, or you can keep the same word. You might have like for me, my overall word is going to be joy. But then every day I pick a different one and come downstairs and focus in on that word. Now, what power statement, what really lights you up to think about it with that area of your life? It could be, oh, I just love playing with my grandkids. If it's your body, oh, I love the way I look in my clothes. It's got to be something that's positive. It can't be your power statement, which I get a lot. I'm not going to eat that food anymore. It's got to make you feel good when you say, I love being, paid X amount of dollars for what I do. Oh, it feels so good to be abundant in all areas of my life. It's got to light you up. So now You already had your game plan you came up with. The only thing you have to do every day is focus in on one word, check in on it, and then come up with a power statement. And you could change it. For the next 30 days, if you did that just for that one area of your life, I can't even imagine it would shift. It's simple. It seems really simple. It's only 1 minute to 3 minutes. But think about it. We start focusing on one area and then somebody pulls us in that. We say, okay, we want a new job. Oh, but the grandkids need me. Oh, I want to do this to the house. Oh, but I got to go help Sally. So we're like wing nuts and we're giving in kind people. So we end up all over the place and we think that we're serving others. But if we really want to serve others, we got to give, receive, let other people do, be able to say no. My motto this year is say no. That's it. It's everywhere. It's not yes. It's say no, no, thank you. Wish I could come. No, I'm sorry. No, thank you. Because I wanted to enjoy the holidays and really enjoy them without feeling like I'm running around like crazy. And that's what I did. But again, I put that for my goal before the holidays. Mine was enjoy the holidays. Don't feel like I have to buy everything for everyone, go everywhere. And everyone was shocked because I'm like, no, thank you. I appreciate the offer. No, that's okay. And man, it's been the best holiday ever.
That's
good.
just
I hope
great.
that answer was like be very clear and not, don't go overboard. And everybody has one area and just think of that area. That's the area I'm working on for the next 30 days. You could change it after that. See what you've accomplished. Move forward. That's it.
What would you do with a love relationship?
I'm sorry. Say that again. Go ahead.
What would you do with a love relationship? Because that's more complicated when you're dealing with other people's humanity.
Ooh, I like that. So we'll pick two different ones. Let's say you wanted to improve a relationship with somebody else, your spouse, your mother-in-law, your children, whomever. You write down, wouldn't it be great? I always state if I had a loving relationship with whomever. Could be your daughter-in-law, anything. But wouldn't it be great if I could really have a great conversation with it? Wouldn't it be great? And you keep writing it until you see it and visualize how you want that relationship to work out. And it's not about them. It's never about them. I don't care. I don't care if you said, if you knew my spouse, if you knew my mother-in-law, if you knew I get it. But I believe everybody comes in your path for a reason. It might be to say, I love and release you. There are those people. I've released a lot of people. Love you. See ya. They're not, I don't even care if they're family because blood, not blood. If I don't feel that warmth and love, and not saying they don't have issues, you want to surround yourself with people that just bring you that light. And if it's family, sometimes you see them not that often. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm only coming because I don't go for, hey, it's blood. You have, not if they don't treat you that. So what is your lesson? It might be you have to have more patience. It may be you need to create space. It might be you need to be empathetic. But if you keep seeing it work out, oh my God, I wish I could tell you the most difficult humans. I'm thinking, Lord have mercy. I can't go to one family gathering and this person is just pure evil. And guess what? They're still pure evil, but not to me. So that's that. And if it's somebody you want to meet, then it's like, oh my God, isn't it great? I met the person when I least expected it. I met my second husband when I was picking up my drunk friends from the bar and I had no makeup on at 2 a.m. because there was no Uber and they needed help. And so, you never know. So I so believe in not, I'll never meet someone. I'll never have a great relationship. No, it's not. You will, but you got to keep seeing it. And like I said, it may be for some, it's just, you can't change them and it's not healthy for you to be with them in that relationship. I hope that answers the question.
It does.
Yeah. Well, Sandy, sometimes we start out a new year real gung-ho and we falter after a bit. I think everybody has experienced a January like that. So what can you give us as helpful hints to get back on our healthful journey? And I'm really thinking of the health part of this too.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
people start out working out like crazy, but it's too extreme what they're eating. I don't know. What do you suggest?
Okay. What's coming to mind, the first and the biggest thing that's coming, I hear all the time,
Mm-hmm.
lighten up on yourself first. Like, let's just lighten up. Let me think. Have a lot of grace for ourselves. Let's just love ourselves. We're humans and we have a lot of imperfections. We are not perfect. And not beat ourselves up because, hey, I tried that 5 or 10 times. I don't give a crap. It's hard. Change is difficult. So forget it. Just lighten up on yourself. Love yourself. Truly. Think about it. Get rid of guilt. It's bad. You're amazing. You're not perfect. You're going to do the same damn stuff over and over again. It's just the way it is. So now what? Now,
Mm-hmm.
when you let yourself off that hook, you can say, okay, what would I really like to do for me, knowing that? And again, if it's your health, why do you really want it? I want to feel good. I want to have vitality for as long as I'm going to be here. And don't get caught up on watching all this stuff on social media of people picking every illness they have. Go away. Don't look at it. Avoid those texts. So-and-so has this. Bless them. But if they start telling you every little detail, disconnect the phone. My biggest pet peeve is, I don't even know what got me onto this, but I feel like it really needs to be said. Never said this before, but I don't care. If you are spreading someone's ill, someone's bad, someone died, make sure the person needs to know. Like they know that person, right? I want you to know Billy is ill. Say prayers. So, but there's no need to tell people about Johnny down the street who's got whatever. And because you don't know what to do with that information when so-and-so doesn't know Johnny down the street. Because all it is, they don't really care. It makes them think about them, and then they get ill. And what if I had BB boo? I'm making up stuff because I don't want to even say things.
Yeah.
It gets in your head, and then you're like, "Oh, did you hear about so and so?" So be very careful. They know if someone calls me, and I'm like, just tell me to pray about somebody? I'll pray. I believe in power prayer. Send good thoughts. But if you start telling me, "Oh my God," I go, disconnect, because it's not healthy. Good. It's not good for them. It's not good for your health. And you think, wait, my finger was scratching. Maybe I got that awful illness. What did so-and-so have? It's true because we make it about us and our family. So the biggest thing you could do for your health is don't buy into it. Don't go on those sites. Don't listen. Disconnect. And know that I don't care what it is. Everybody can have it, but it's not you. You might have it for a day. They might have it for 4 weeks. I am a very healthy person. I'm not saying I don't get colds, but I visualize myself healthy. And even if I get something, I'm like, yeah, I'll be good. And I visualize, what do you want me to do? How can I take care of my body? And I eat the right foods for it. Not all the time. I'm 80-20 most of the time. Holidays 60-40, maybe. I eat cookies. I eat pizza. I eat cheesesteaks. But I most of the time eat healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I want to change the subject slightly because you're also a writer, and it's a lot of work that you do in so many different areas. So talk about your writing process and about your books and what inspired you, especially to write Train Your Head and Your Body Will Follow. But what was the writing process like? Did you plan it out? Did you have a game plan, your game plan? How did that work?
Again, I went kicking and screaming. I'm not a writer. Me writing, but all my staff was like, Sandy, I always have stories. I always have little power bells. Let me tell you a story. Like, you need to write a book. And then when I realized that I really wanted to do something to help people get in that positive, powerful mindset. And I did the studies and I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll write a book, but with it, it'll be more like a guidebook for people to journal who don't have a system in a way. And it took me years because
Oh,
I I don't just start right. I interviewed tons of people. I want to talk to people that know specifically about how the brain works. I want to talk to people about the science of the body. I mean, like for this to be that simple, I know it sounds crazy, but it was a 3-year process to write to make it that simple because I wanted to make sure I had the science behind it, the
yeah.
logic behind it. I mean, it's not in the book, a lot of it, because I didn't want to make that book about that, but there's a reason why the word is this way and the power statement's that way and the game plan's that way. It's how people see, it's how people visualize, it's what they'll remember. I mean, it was years and years of research. And I know it
Mm.
sounds like for those 2 pages took me years.
But
Years.
did you did you actually write every day when you started to write, or how did that
Yes,
work?
every day. And I wish I had we're talking scribble scrap. We're talking I look like a nutcase. Piles of paper. Nothing was typed because everything I do is I have to write and I do it in colors. Piles and piles and piles. And then I was lucky enough to have an assistant to come transcribe. And then I would do some and she would just dictate. I mean, we're talking like this to come up with one page. I know it sounds crazy. One
No, it
page.
doesn't. No,
That's
I'm a
And
writer
difficult.
too. I do the same thing.
yeah.
Very
And then
difficult.
the stories were fun, but I wanted that page had to work. And then this page had to work. And then for the kids, page had to work. And then
Mm-hmm.
it took me, I think it was 2018 when it finally got published. Like back then, Body, Mind, and Spirit, they thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And so it took me a year and a half to get an agent and then another year and a half to get a publisher. And then another year. It was a long process because I got about 35 rejections because they just didn't think it would work. And now it's mainstream.
Mm-hmm. It sure
And
is. And you were obviously one of the people forging ahead and clearing the path for others. And
Yeah.
we're going to wind up, but I wanted to ask you what you'd like our listeners to have as a takeaway today.
I think my biggest takeaway would be just realize you are the most unique human being on earth. And I really mean this. Nobody else can be you. And there's a reason you're here. There's a reason. And I don't mean it has to be this huge impact in the world. It can just be making the person smile at the Wawa. The little actions, the little things that you do every day. Yes, there may be big things, but you have a purpose here. And every flaw that you think you have, you're meant to be that way. It's awesome the way you are, the way your mind is, the way your body is. And when you embrace that, really embrace it, your light is going to shine bright, baby. It will shine bright.
Oh,
That's it.
that's wonderful.
Love it.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Our guest today on Late Boomers has been Sandy Joy Weston, author, TEDx speaker, spreader of joy in the world, and founder of SJW Productions, whose mission is to highlight all the positive in the world. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome. Thank you so much to our listeners for listening to Late Boomers today. And please subscribe to our Late Boomers podcast channel on YouTube and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. We'd love you to follow us on Instagram at I am Kathy Worthington and at I am Mary Elkins and at Late Boomers. We hope we've given you food for thought today and provided some inspiration for you, which is always our intention. Thanks again, Sandy.
Oh, thank you. I had a blast. It was fun.
And
We did too.
before we cut, Sandy, where would you like our listeners to contact you if they'd like?
Ah, Important.
Oh, so go on my website. It's really easy. SandyJoyWeston.com. SANDY, Joy, and Weston, WESTON. They can find everything there. But if they also, I'm on all social media sites. Everything is Sandy Joy West. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. They can send me
Great.
messages. I promise that within 24 hours, I'll get back to you.
Fabulous. Thank
Right.
you. Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.biz. If you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers, go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.